All right, good morning, agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here at Alta Realty Group. And today we are going to go over Instagram Reels that actually get shared, they get engagement, people are interested in them, and they help you build your business as a local realtor. So this should be a great webinar, and I'm looking forward to sharing all this stuff with you guys. But before we get into today's presentation, I'm going to bring Bill Seitz, ARG Corporate Broker, on the line. Good morning, Bill. How you doing today?
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing?
We're doing great. Want to welcome all the agents. Always want to welcome the awesome Don Kearney, who's always here, and all the rest of the Alta agents. So yeah, we're doing great today, Bill. Any quick updates for us?
Yeah, I got a couple actually. Number one, I want to thank all the agents that read our corporate emails because while Lauren was out of the country for the last 10 days or so, it actually went fairly smoothly. We got most of our CDAs out in a timely fashion, and so there really wasn't really any delays on that. So we were just basically producing those internally myself along with the finance team, and so hopefully everyone was satisfied there. There will be some trailing just file audit as far as making sure everything's just buttoned up if you did receive a CDA prematurely, not in our normal process. So just be mindful of that. If there's anything that was missing in your files, you've gotten paid, please do the right thing and just get anything that might be really significant and important into the file for us so we can close it out.
Yes, that would be very appreciative, or we would appreciate that, I should say.
Yeah. Yesterday I sent out a market update. It's stuff that I keep obviously my eyes and ears on every single day, pretty much, especially mortgage rates and what the macro real estate market's doing. And I just also look at just the amount of transactions that are happening within the company. And it seems like, April really has gotten off to a strong start as far as transactions. And we're seeing new agents that, maybe haven't done a lot in the past or even coming in with new transactions. So it seems like the inventory has opened up a little bit and we're getting a little bit more of a healthy springtime market. Last few years, as we all know, has been super tough with from COVID to the initial shock of high interest rate environment. But it seems like people have kind of digested that now. We are obviously in a little bit of a volatile situation with the markets. Interest rates are bouncing up and down, as Amelia outlined last week. But what I do find encouraging is the amount of transactions going on and that there is more inventory. So hopefully that's helping all you guys out there with listings or with buyers, and will convert into more transactions for everybody. What else?
Yeah,
Kev? Got a couple more things here.
everybody.
I want to just quickly go back over the buyer broker agreement. Seeing some issues pop up on that side of it as of late. We spent quite a bit of last summer into the fall going over this multiple times. So those of you that were on these webinars are probably pretty savvy to it. But for those who aren't, I just want to remind everybody that your compensation agreement, regardless of who pays it, is between you and the buyer if you're representing the buyer. So that contract is between you and the buyer. Obviously, you can submit for the selling side to pay for it, but that agreement is the agreement. And you can't go backwards on that amount that you set forth in that agreement. You can go down, you can take a lower percentage, but you can't go up. So I've seen it where agents put a lower percentage in their BRBC, and then the seller was willing to pay more money, and they're like, "Oh, I just want to do an addendum or an amendment to the contract," and it doesn't work like that. You can't do that. So my suggestion is, if this is myself personally handling a buyer, I'm going to put 3% in that buyer broker agreement and explain to my buyer, hey, look, this is the way we do things now. This is what's happened in the industry. This is what the changes are. You know, my goal is to have the seller pay for my compensation as best as I can. And if I don't put, whatever, 2.5%, 3%, I have no chance of getting that straight out of the gates. And so, and it kind of overlaps with, that presentation that you did, Kevin, a few weeks ago about what our value is and what we bring to the table. You got to know that stuff, obviously, so you can field any questions. But if the seller's willing to pay 3% and you offer full price and your BRBC says 2%, well, you just lost a percent of compensation. So you absolutely need to be able to articulate that to your client and make sure you know how to do it contractually, because you don't want to leave money on the table. I'm seeing a lot of agents, taking 1.5%, 2%, and I feel like they're missing opportunities to increase their revenue and their profitability and their transactions. So that's a big reminder. I'm just seeing that a couple times, and so I want to make sure everybody understands that clearly. And if you need additional, explanation, or you want to talk about it, give me a call. It's fine. I think that's super important.
For sure. And then I've also, just remember, you can always go to the ARG YouTube channel and you can do a search like I just did here, buyer. And this is that reviewing the buyer broker agreement, hour-long webinar that we went through with Lauren. And so, it's not a bad idea to go back and review that, and maybe even do that before you call Bill. But, that these tools are there for you guys. So this is always a resource for you guys, right, Bill?
Yeah, and that's a great point. We record these, so they're always there.
Exactly.
And
They live
to
on
be
forever.
honest, I've even gone back and listened to a couple of them. You know what I mean? Because some of them there's a lot of material in them, and all of us are learning, myself included. I mean, this business is changing daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, so we're always constantly learning. We never know everything, and if we do, we have the wrong attitude. So we need to be humble and have some humility here, and understand if we don't know something, that we take the time to learn it, so we don't get ourselves in trouble, and also we can maximize our profitability in this business. Um, Lastly, Kevin, before we get Amelia a quick update, I just want to congratulate Michael Marandakis and Madeline Marquez. They just had recent closings with using CVM and Legacy. Both were able to use their loyalty points and knock down their transaction fees quite a bit, hundreds of dollars each of them. And so it's just a no-brainer. I don't know why you wouldn't do it. Picking up an extra $400 or $500, in some cases more, is absolutely money that you can put in your pocket and use for yourself instead of giving it away.
Exactly. And you get to utilize a absolutely professional team in both Clearview Mortgage as well as Legacy Escrow. So it's a win-win all the way around, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, with and with the Clearview, it's a no-brainer for speed, process, wholesale pricing, and just client experience. So to me, it's like, even if you've got another lender in the mix, just throw the scenario to Amelia, let her price it out. Let her, she's averaging 11 days submission to CTC. So I don't know many people in this business that are going to go faster than that. Submitting the loan and getting it clear to close in 11 days. That's her stats. So that to me is, that equals client experience, and it equals also a referral. So it just seems silly if you don't at least give that a shot.
Well, well said, Bill. And
Anyway,
yeah, and with that, we will bring on Amelia Hollow, right? All right, so let me bring Amelia Hollow from Clearview Mortgage on the line. Good morning, Amelia. How are you today? Oh, I might have muted you. You might have to unmute yourself, Amelia.
Found the unmute button. Sorry about that.
There you go.
Hiding behind a couple browsers there. But yes, good morning, everybody. Quick market update for mortgage. Not a whole lot to report this week. I guess in that regard, no news is good news. We're pretty much hovering at the height of where we've been this year so far, but we haven't gone up anymore. So we'll take that as a win. And if anything, it is starting to ease off a bit. So yeah, there was no major economic data or tariff news this past week, and it's totally, who knows what's going to happen in the week to come. So yeah, that's kind of where we're sitting right now. Not a whole lot to report. With that being said, if you have any open houses coming up and you would like a flyer created with a rate sheet breakdown of just some kind of more generic conventional type scenarios with some information with pricing for potential buyers who walk in the door who just like a little idea of what the cost would be. Just send me a text or an email and I can definitely create that in one of my little app programs. And yeah, that would just be a nice little visual to put out at an open house. So that is an offer that's on the table always for anybody who needs it.
Perfect, Amelia. And yeah, and have Amelia do the work. You got a lot of things to do, so creating flyers is one thing that is, on your plate, and so let Amelia handle that for you, right?
Yes, please.
And just to that point, that's a great idea, Amelia. Just for me, and I've done a million open houses in my 22 plus year career here, or I think maybe 23. I'm losing count, which is a good and a bad thing. But having a visual financing flyer or something tangible to me is so important. A lot of people walk in the door, they're not sure, but like giving them something that they can kind of get ballpark on pricing and know like, oh, this is what the monthly payment would be for this percent down on this, under this program is just crucial in my opinion.
For sure. And, a lot of people that walk into an open house, they don't really have that much of an idea of what what the actual costs are. So just, having that visual, I think is really, really important.
Yeah, I mean, unless they've been shopping and they're already pre-approved and they've just been missing out on properties and they already have this kind of fine-tuned,
Sure.
people that are just starting the process really don't have any idea, and it's just an absolutely an essential tool to your open house like toolkit.
For sure.
Anyways, sorry to be long-winded today, Kevin, but there was a few things to go through.
That's okay. That's okay. That's why we're here. Amelia, thank you for the update. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
And of course, Amelia's information will be on the replay, and you can contact her at any time. Okay, so we're going to shift swiftly into our feature presentation. So Instagram, as we all know, is a really important marketing tool. These days, Instagram is more popular than Facebook. You can, and should, market yourself on both of those platforms. And it's a great way to, position yourself as that local community realtor. And so a lot of agents that do this well, they crush it, and people follow them, and they people see their stuff. So also with that said, Reels. So these are the Reels. Reels are the most shared thing in Instagram. So this is not interesting. This is an awesome example. So this reel I just posted yesterday, and it has 3,255 views. So if you don't think reels get, viewed a lot, you're missing the boat. And it's got even 111 likes, so that's fun too. But so reels are kind of the quintessential Instagram post. And then of course the reels also get shared onto the posts. So they're very, very important. And so I want you guys to start, if you're not doing Instagram Reels, I want you to start doing that. And so one of the cool things about Reels that we'll talk about in the presentation is you can add collaborators. And so as I talk about, what we're, doing community reels and that kind of stuff, it's really cool because you can add collaborators, and those collaborators can be things like local businesses that you highlight, things in the local community. So really, really cool that they have that, and that helps boost your engagement, because that will, if the collaborator, accepts the request, it goes onto their reel, it goes out to all of their followers, and so you get just a magnification of what you're doing. So this is something occasionally I come across things in Inman News, and if you're not following Inman, it is a paid subscription, but it's really powerful, and there's a lot of really good ideas in here. Not just news, but also marketing tips. And so I'm constantly viewing these marketing tips, and sometimes they're just so good. I just want to share them with you guys. So this is this is basically 11 different examples of Instagram Reels that top agents have found success with. So we'll just go through these real quick, and then I will, we won't listen to every single one, but I'll make sure that you guys have, a copy of all of these. So a really good idea is a coming soon community amenity reel. What does that mean? So that means there's a local business or there's something that's about to come out in the local community, and you can get ahead of the curve, and you can inform your constituents that this local thing is about to happen. It might be like an amphitheater is getting built, or a new, shopping mall is coming to town, or it could be literally anything that is about to happen in the local area. And you can do a reel. Again, we're going to be doing a reel, and you're going to be able to share that. And these can be, and you're going to see these examples. They're quick. They're all under a minute. Some of them are 30 seconds. And that is also the key with these reels is, the short attention span of the Instagram viewer is, noted. So this is a really cool one that she did. This lady her name is Alyssa Kernett, and she's out in Spokane, Washington. And so she identified this new, indoor farmers market that's coming to town. And so it's a super, super cool deal. Let's just see if we can watch this video super quick, and you can get some ideas. Whoops.
Year-round farmers market is on the way, and here are all the details. The Scale House Market is in Spokane Valley near the Thor Freya exit, and it is a multi-million-dollar project that's underway now. So the indoor year-round market will have space for about 25 vendors, and then there will also be an outdoor space for 30 additional vendors. Plus, I love this. There's going to be a commercial kitchen with classes, and specifically classes teaching little ones how to cook. And there'll be a stage for musicians, an atrium available for rent for events. This space is going to be so cool. The goal is to open up this coming May. Share this video with a friend who loves a good farmer's market. Spokane's very...
So notice what she did there. And this is a really important thing, is she had a little call to action at the end of her video. Share this with a friend that loves local stuff. So when you're reminding your followers to share it, it actually does kind of pique, it like reminds them, oh yeah, shoot, I would like to share this with, my best friend or my mom or, whatever it happens to be. So really, really cool that she did that. So that's a really, that's a slam dunk, easy idea on how, we're always looking for things to post, right? Boom, easy deal. The next one is a coming soon listing teaser. So, and again, these are all reels. So a very good idea is when you're about to get a listing, you can do a quick teaser. And that also you're, highlighting, hey, this is a property that's not on the market yet. And you can get a little bit of, kind of coming soon buzz for that particular property. And so it's a very, very easy deal to do that as well. So let's watch. And this gentleman is in the Baltimore, Maryland area. His name is Andrew Undum. And so let's take a look at what he did.
Welcome to the Rochelle Mansion.
Ready or not. Here I come.
So he just does just quick little drone footage, couple clips. Nothing too special here, guys. Super easy.
Ready or not.
Just a quick teaser. So, I mean, and these are not hard to do. And I will show you, how we do that in Canva real quick in a second here. So that's a great idea. A builder interview. Make a relationship with a local builder, and go and highlight what they're doing. Interview them. Again, super quick. You don't really have to you know, if the builder's like, I don't really want to talk, you're like, no problem. You just kind of introduce him. Hey, here's, you know, John, the builder, and we're going to take a look at his new project, you know? So another easy idea. So let's watch this one real quick.
If you've been waiting on this sideline for the perfect new construction home to hit in Watersound Origins, this may be it. Today we have an incredibly exciting opportunity to check out this beautiful 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath to hit the market here in one of the newest phases, the Greenway phase here in Watersound Origins. I'm here with the man who built it, Brian Walsh with Keyline Construction. Let's go check it out. Let's go.
I'm in love with you. I didn't know it at the time. I know what I want to do. It's making me lose my mind. Thought about thinking through. And every time I do, I find I want to make it.
So super quick, super easy, guys. Like, you know, these are not, you know, huge productions, right? These are really, really quick, really easy. You know, they're engaging. People like to see them. And, you know, it's something that people will share. So the next one is a local airport update reel. You know, so if there's some kind of a new thing happening in your local airport, so this one is in Houston. You know, in Houston, apparently they're creating, you know, a whole new terminal, and they're doing all these upgrades and all these things like that. And so this one is, you know, highlighting that. So we won't watch that one. I'll include that in the replay, of course. But an easy idea. And I just want you guys to get these ideas, because these are things that you can do very quickly, very easily, and you can really establish yourself as that local realtor that people trust. So the next one is a closing day behind the scenes reel. So this is cool. This is like, okay, we just closed on the property, and Omer Rashid, he goes in and he shows him, you know, going and getting, you know, the closing gifts for the person, and then going and presenting that to the buyer, and, you know, showing how he does the stuff behind the scenes. So it's a cool idea, and it's kind of just an extra take on a closing video where you just show up at the house and you know, kind of video the, you know, the buyer, and you know, do like a, hey, you know, how did you like this? And then you can have, if the buyers are not real, you know, conducive to being filmed or anything like that, you can also just get their testimonial, and you can read the testimonial, you know, just out loud. So really an easy one as well. Great idea, behind the scenes closing video. You know, boom, you know, sold. And these keys, you can have these made with our partner, Real Estate Signs and Supplies. And they have the big old, you know, Alta Realty Group logo. And they actually look way better than this thing. But anyway, you can have those created. And I think they're great. And they you know, they kind of, it's almost like the, you know, the big check that, you know, people have when they, you know, win something. So the next one is just sold with a twist reel. So this lady, Lindley Corobea, in the Miami, Florida area, she creates a just sold post that utilizes several effective strategies. So when you bring them together, it performs super well. So what she did is she goes into the 6 things that happened during the sale that kind of like, you know, made it happen or were very instrumental in the process. So really a great idea what she does here. So she identifies, you know, what the needs are, then she did staging and what the process was there, followed by her marketing, what she did to market the property, and then also, you know, what she did in the negotiating process. And then she reads the reviews from both the buyer and the seller that they left for her. So this is a really, really good idea. So let's watch this one real quick.
Our clients sold their house for almost $700,000 more than Zillow said it was worth. 35% more. And there are 6 things that happened that I want to tell you about, and number 6 is my favorite. Number 1, we first met with these clients 7 months before the house went on the market and understood at that meeting that the most important thing to them was making as much money as they could from the sale. Number 2, we brought in our team to help them clean up, repaint the house, refinish the floors, spruce up the landscaping, and get it ready to help them get top dollar, completely staging the house. Look at that before and after. Number 3, we marketed the heck out of it. We created some really good videos. Look at this one, viral, 188,000 views. 4, we hosted 2 open houses, and we didn't jump to accept the first offer they received. We let the house be exposed to the market for a week, and we ended up getting 6 offers. 5, the sellers said we guided them with empathy, honesty, and a dose of humor. It was never about the transaction, but about the experience. And number 6, even the buyer wrote us a testimonial after the sale saying, Lindley has a powerhouse of resources with a team of folks, and they deliver on every promise. The house ended up selling for $2.65 million, and we are just so happy that everyone was happy, and we're thrilled that our clients got $700,000 more in the Zillow.
So she had, and again, like, she did a really good job with that. But, at the end, like, her little background stuff was like a little bit over the top. But, she got, 242 likes. She probably got thousands of views on that one. So another really good idea on what to do with a real estate, Instagram reel. The next one is the anchor bio video reel. So, this is kind of cool. This is, this video will be an anchor marketing piece for the business. So this one, and an anchor bio is something that you can kind of pin to the top of your Instagram and make sure that that's just kind of always there. And you can utilize these, all over the place. You can put, a QR code on your email signature. You can put it in direct mail pieces. You can put, a QR code on your business cards that go directly to this kind of bio video. And, so for Anderson, he utilizes a style that flows from him being being interviewed to him on job sites, how he got into the business. And the video varies, the speed, angles, and cuts in a way that keeps the viewer engaged. So he does a really good job on this one. I'll include that for you guys. You guys can watch it later. But a very, very good idea to have that kind of, reel, available for your general marketing, kind of your evergreen marketing. And I think this is the last one. No, but this is the second to last one, an upcoming amenity. In this particular example, there's a prototype Publix grocery store going up in Orlando. So he's like, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to show what this is. And, there is, the kind of some unique things that are going into this particular Publix, market. And so he just highlights what's happening there. So again, it's just a local happening, a local thing that's coming soon. It is very, very engaging. People check this stuff out. He got 8,800 likes, probably 10,000 views or more, and so that obviously got shared. So a really good idea, super easy. It doesn't take much to do these. And then the last one is a local weekday restaurant specials reel. This is super fun. So this lady, Emily McAllister in Greenville, North Carolina, she goes into a few of her local businesses that have, she just probably walked around to the different restaurants that she frequents and is like, okay, a lot of restaurants have like a Tuesday special, or they have a Wednesday special, or a Thursday special, or whatever it is. And so she just goes in, highlights those different specials, and does a reel about it. Super quick, super easy. This is something that you could do, once a week, or at least, once every, month. You could have like your monthly restaurant highlight, right? And then the cool thing about that is, just like I showed you, you can then collaborate with the local business, and you can go boom, add a collaborator, and then you can add that business, and then they can share it with others. So if you're doing that, you wouldn't want to do, multiple businesses. You would just want to stick to one, because you wouldn't want to, force that business to also highlight other local restaurants. So just keep that in mind. But that's a really good idea, to just make sure that you're highlighting local things. And it doesn't have to be a restaurant. It could just be, a local business that has some kind of a cool deal. So, and then there is actually one more. The last one is the seller's guidebook lead capture. So you could have, just like we make our sellers guides in Canva, you can also do a reel that kind of captures that same look and feel. So this particular guy, Jason Gunner, he shares the value book that he creates, and then tells the viewer that they can download the book, on his website. And his website has a lead capture page where they, in order to download the book, they have to, put in their information. So it's a lead capture reel that, offers that person your seller's guidebook. So a great way. I mean, obviously, when you meet a seller, you're just going to give them that guidebook and that, seller's piece that we create in Canva. But this is a great way to, get lead capture from random people that you don't know, that, this stuff comes up on, on Instagram in their feed. So real quick, the way that we create these is in Canva. So, all you have to do is go to, projects, create a design, and I'll just do this real quick. Create a design. What do you want to do? I want to do an Instagram reel. Click on that. You start, adding the pictures and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you what we did here. So this is literally the one I did yesterday. And so all you're doing is putting in the slides, and they can be video slides, or in this case, they were just pictures that are there for like, however many minutes that you want. And you'll just add a page, put in your videos or whatever you uploaded, and set it to music, to audio. There's all kinds of audio that you can use for free. And so you're able to create I created this in like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe less, and super, super effective. As you guys saw, there was like, I think, what was it, 3,000, let's just check it out again for fun. Oh, I have to go to Reels. Yeah, 3,200 views in not even 24 hours. So they do get shared, they do get views. It is a super powerful tool. So I encourage you guys to start utilizing Canva, utilize these reels, and get your brand out into the marketplace and establish yourself as that local realtor that knows what's going on, has the pulse of the local community. So Bill, any takeaways from today's presentation?
Yeah, for sure. Number one is video is so effective.
Yeah.
And these examples really showcase that. I mean, the content is key, and very impressive with a lot of those different creative ways of either, a home that's coming to market or the success of the sale, and all those different examples were all very well done and very effective. And you could kind of, get engaged with those. Anything community based is outstanding. Obviously, we work in communities. That's what we do. we're selling residential property for the most part. So anything community based is going to connect you to the community. I have a friend, his name's Chris Moreno. He's similar in like myself, in that I'm tied into a lot of the surfing industry, a lot of my contacts, a lot of the sales I've done over the years, and help people come out of that industry. And he is one as well. And there was a big controversial, or it's still controversial because it hasn't happened yet, but the city of Newport Beach is contemplating putting in a wave pool. It's basically a synthetic surfing, park, essentially, where the old municipal golf course is. And Chris did a really good job, because he did a reel, just like you said, Kevin, but he didn't take a stance of like, I'm for it or against it. He made it like, what do he lays out all the specs of it. What are the timelines? When are they going to, potentially start breaking ground, and when it'll be finished? And he's like, what do you think about this project? So he actually gets people engaged in their opinion of it, and he doesn't take a stance. So he gets, either criticized or having the opinion of that people don't have, but he gets people talking and engagement, right? That is like the crux of engagement, is getting people to talk about stuff, right? He also did another one in Huntington Beach. They're proposing a big retail center and new homes kind of over some of the wetlands area. So that's super controversial. He did the same thing. He laid out all the specs of the proposal, what's potentially going to go in. What do you guys think about it? And so again, a very engaging topic to discuss, and he got massive amounts of traction on that. And he's a very successful realtor here in Newport and Huntington Beach. Also, if you're not like, if this is just not for you, you just don't want to go on camera, it's just not your style. I think a lot of this stuff still carries over to other usages of Instagram. There's a gal that I follow. We've mentioned her many times over the years. Haven't mentioned her in a while, but I encourage you guys to maybe check out Katrina Smith. She's a agent here in Newport Beach. Does an amazing job with her Instagram, and she provides like educational things about title and escrow, and it's done very, very well. Just the quality of her marketing from her drones to her pictures to putting everything together for her listings are just absolutely top notch. DJ Bibb, who we all know, our Fidelity guy and good friend, he follows her as well. And lastly, once again, if Instagram's not going to be your thing and you don't want to use it, well, then the fallback is your community stuff should be in your newsletter. And Kevin, I sent you while you were talking, I don't know if you can pull it up on your email. I sent this is to me, if you can find it, Kevin, I just sent it to you about 5 minutes ago. Yeah. A friend of mine, David Solomon, he works West LA and, basically the Beverly Hills, Brentwood, all those, kind of high end areas. I went to college with him down at San Diego State, and he's turned into one of the biggest LA agents up there. And he does his newsletter it's called, Roaming LA and Easter weekend activities. Do you see it?
Yeah. Roaming LA.
So
LA and beyond.
So this to me is the gold standard of a newsletter, because it doesn't talk about his $6 million listing in Brentwood. It doesn't talk about anything real estate related at the first. It's talking about the community. It's talking about what's going on. Local news, Santa Monica Airport's future, Palisades Library cleared, blah, blah, blah. Local eats, Japanese food hall hits WeHo, Coco Club. So he has all these concerts, sports and beyond. Local living, like nothing is even real estate related until you get halfway down the newsletter, and then it's got his listing at $38 million listing at Crescent Drive. He's got his $6.7 million Ocean Park Boulevard. But once again, it's all community driven at the front. And people, I don't live in LA. I don't, I don't want to live in LA, but I follow this stuff because it's the content's so good. I want to see what's going on. And, he's my friend, but I don't look at it because he's my friend, because I look at it because it's the quality is there. And that's what's going to capture people if you do good quality stuff. And I don't know, Kevin, do you think that newsletter is produced by a company? I mean, he has to have some sort of, I don't know who publishes that, but that might be something we could find out, because I think that is absolutely a no-brainer. You will absolutely stand out with the realtors, that you're competing against in the local markets if you can put something like that together.
Yeah, so he's either doing this through MailChimp or Constant Contact or one of those. That's my guess. And he's, probably producing this himself, or he has some kind of a, person that he's, contracted with. But yeah, not a hard thing to have to do these things in, any one of those. There's tons of these different email marketing programs. And you could even do this through Sierra Interactive. So there's a lot of different ways that you guys can do these different, these monthly newsletters, and they're so effective. They keep you top of mind all the time, and they do show that you are, the local, expert in the community. So very good example, Bill.
Yeah, and if you can do both well, you're in the top, 0.5% of agents in this industry.
For sure. And then, obviously the third, thing that can dovetail off of this is, a a physical newsletter that you mail out. And I know, John and Jennifer Espinosa, that's what they do. And that's what they've been doing for years and years and years, and they never miss a month. And so whatever your special, yeah, they don't, they're not into the social media stuff. And so they have gone with what is comfortable with them. And so whatever it is that you're comfortable with, just stick to it. And the consistency, again, is the most important thing, right?
100%. So, you don't have to do everything, but this has been a good webinar because I get excited about it because I like to see what works. And I can just emphatically say this stuff 100% works. What I mean? Not even, it's not maybe, it's a hard yes.
It's a hard yes, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Copy what these other top agents are doing, guys. There's no shame in doing that. It works, so do it.
Exactly. So hopefully we got some creative juices flowing for y'all, and I'm actually I'll ping David and just find out if I can get who's producing that for him, because I'd like to get that into our kind of wheelhouse for our agents to possibly replicate wherever they live or wherever they're working,
Absolutely. All right, fantastic, agents. Well, thanks for those insights, Bill. Very, very key. Really good insights today. Appreciate that. And agents, use this as some motivation to get you out there and to get whatever it is you're doing out into your local community, into your sphere of influence, and be that local marketing presence that everybody can trust. So with that said, get out there, make it a great week and a productive week, and we'll see all of you on the webinar next Wednesday. Bye-bye.